Well, on November 1st, St. John Henry Newman officially became a doctor of the Catholic Church, which means that his theological insights and teaching contributed significantly to our faith. And here to give us more insight is Monsignor Laurence Spiteri. He's the author of Newman for Our Time, Saints, Scholar, and Doctor of the Church from Sophia Institute Press. He holds doctorate degrees in biblical studies, psychology, and canon law. Thank you so much for being with us, Father Larry.
You're more than welcome.
So St. John Henry Newman wasn't always Catholic, and I wonder if we could start there. Maybe tell us a little bit about his religious background and when and why he decided to convert.
Okay. He was born in England, obviously, in 1901, and died in England also in 1801, and died in England in 1890. He was born in London to a family that was not exactly a pious Anglican family. Okay. But, as was the custom of the time, John Henry knew a lot of the Bible by heart. It was a kind of standard approach, whether you practice your faith and belief or not. Okay. His parents were rather upper middle class and the father lost his business. John Henry was sent to a boarding school, and he started being exposed to other kinds of Protestant creeds, particularly Calvinism. So that was his first conversion. It did not last that long because he realized that the way he was approaching religion was outside the established and accepted method of the Calvinistic faith. Okay. Then, at a very tender age, he went to Oxford, and this is where his real study of religion, I think, began. It began very simple, expanded because he met the right people. They eventually started having this interpersonal religious experience. Okay. John Henry could not make up his mind of what to do. How typical of kids, teenagers today. Yeah. His mother thought he was becoming over-enthusiastic about his religious practices, while his father lost his temper and one day asked him, "What do you want to be?" And he opted for the church. Wow. And that began the journey that eventually would lead him through studies, in particular of the fathers of the church, the early fathers of the church. Wow. As he divulged more and more into the fathers of the church, he started discovering that maybe he had it all wrong. And this is where his sheer honesty, intellectual honesty, came to play. He started searching for the truth at a different and deeper level. In so doing, he was led to discover that the Church of England might be in heresy. He became famous for his preaching, became a minister, and by becoming famous, he became a threat to the established Anglican Communion. This led him to be forced out of the University of Oxford, where he had established a way of teaching that is still in effect today, and that is the purpose of a tutor is not only to form intellectually a person, a student, but form him roundedly. He went to England, started fighting what he called liberalism, not the way we understanding, but the theological way, and that is any religion is as good as any other, for there is no objective truth. And he said, wait a minute, we have to be answerable to somebody. And so he started digging deeper into the church fathers and started realizing that actually there wasn't that big of a difference between what the Catholic Church proclaimed and what the original Anglicans held on to.
Yeah.
except, of course, for papal primacy.
And
Eventually, go ahead.
no, I say so. So eventually, I not, unfortunately, we're running short on time. So eventually, converted to Catholicism. Yeah.
Eventually convert Catholicism, and what he lived, we are living through today. Great prejudice against Catholics, Catholics who are troublesome, lawsuits against Catholic Church and Catholic clergy, division among people's ideas, and the importance of teaching really Catholic theology to form Catholic students as future leaders in society.
Yeah, it's an amazing story, amazing man. There's so much to unpack. Unfortunately, we are out of time, Father. If you could let us know how can people get a copy of this book, find out more on their own, and find out a little bit more about this great saint of the Church.
Just look up my name, spell it on the internet, and I think they give you everything. As far as I know, it can be ordered from Sophia Institute or Amazon.
Okay, great. Sophia Institute is the place to go as well. So thank you so much, Father Larry, for being with us. I know there's a lot to talk about for this great saint, but thank you so much for sharing.
I was going to expand on how he and Pope Benedict had a common sharing, and that is Benedict also abdicated. He was a great fan of John Henry Newman. Abdicated because of sheer intellectual honesty that affected his life, even in the papacy. It's fascinating.
Doctor of the Church. Thank you so much, Father Larry. We appreciate you taking time to be with us.